I move.
I'll second it.
Aye.
Aye.
Old business. DNR discussion. Who's been in contact lately? Who's the spokesperson?
Well, I have.
Okay.
Just to get everybody up to speed, on the 23rd, Tom Ware called me, and there have been some complaints given to the DNR regarding the grocery store. Kids, people messing with it, playing with it. He couldn't give me names and all that kind of stuff. And as we all remember, well, maybe you don't, Mark, but when we met with Mel and Tom of April 26th of 22, they were giving us essentially till July 1st to do something. And now Tom is saying that he's gonna put the pinch on. It's almost July 1st and we're gonna start getting dinged, we're gonna start getting in trouble. He will have to do an administrative order if nothing is done. So, I told him I would get a hold of you guys, we'd do whatever. I did get a hold of Mel Pence and have him give us a step-by-step, and I handed that out to you guys, a step-by-step of what we have to do to get any kind of money, grant type stuff. So I've handed that out to everybody, so everybody has what Mel handed me, or sent me, and then also a copy of the brochure about the grant. So that is what I know about this. Also, I'm just gonna say also, I'm sorry, I forgot. I did talk to Mel Pence, and asked him to send the step-by-step. He implied this is the last time he wants to hear from us unless we're going to move forward. He's not gonna come and talk to us again. He's not gonna explain it. He's got 75 other towns that can use this money. And he has explained to, well, I guess the mayor at some point about all this prior to us coming on. And then he was there on April and explained it to us. And he says, I don't have time to jack around with it if you're not gonna go with me. And if we are, we just have to tell him, and he'll work the way through this process with us. We also have to tell Tom what the plan of attack is, so he also knows. We have to keep that communication open. So that is what I know.
What do you mean that Tom said you have to start doing executive orders or administrative? What do you mean by that?
Well, here's the deal. If he doesn't start seeing some movement and that getting cleaned up, we're gonna get in trouble. And that's what he said. The town will be in trouble if he doesn't start. He gave us until July 1st to at least show some kind of progress that it's getting cleaned up. There's no progress. So that means it's gonna we need to have a plan of attack. And whether that plan of attack is what, we need to come up with it.
The only thing that I can tell you is I was on the phone a lot too, just like you were. And Dennis is enrolled. She's got a copy of the company that's got him enrolled in the cleaning up. Only thing she doesn't have that I requested tonight, I wanted to see if the taxes were paid. Because they have to be paid, and a deed has to be.
There's a lien against that property.
But if there's executive order, that wipes that out probably.
But there's a lien for $500 against that property, and the lien is owed to the city of Grand Junction. So I'm not sure why we would drop that.
Anytime you take property away, and I've done it, my lawyers have done it. Anytime it's like, that clears all lien.
If we were to take the property, then it would clear that lien. But if they are transferring it from the owner
Oh, yeah, you're right.
to them,
Mhm.
then they also owe the $500.
Plus court costs.
Yeah, plus court costs, to the city of Grand Junction.
So that would be the $500 lien plus taxes
Plus taxes, plus whatever court costs are.
in the deed.
And,
The only thing I saw tonight, she could print it off or what, but then it says in bold, what's the name of the company again? Tom lined it up, didn't he?
Impact 7G.
when do the classes start?
The 15th August.
August?
Yes. The whole reason that he could not do the other class was because of the burden.
And the class was canceled, or he had to cancel?
He had to cancel it because that's a priority.
Okay, and we're just gonna go back a little bit. When we met with Mel and Tom, okay? And let's make sure I have this right, you guys, and sorry, Mark, I'm get you up to speed. The person becomes asbestos certified.
Mm-hmm.
One person becomes. There are one person show. Nobody else can help them. Nobody else can be there involved and do anything. Am I correct with that?
Everybody that works at that site has to be certified for asbestos treatment.
And there's one day of the week that the Boone County landfill takes contaminated stuff. So you're going to have one man taking loads to the dump one day a week. How long do you think that's gonna take?
Oh, yeah.
But there will be improvement.
I don't think that that's what the DNR wants is improvement. I think they want it done. They want it gone. And if we wait too much longer and then we have it dumped back in our lap, then the $25,000 that we might be able to get for a grant is gonna be gone because it's gonna be given out to all these other little towns, and then we're not even gonna get that.
Mel did say, he's not, like I said, he's not messing around with us. He's not holding back money. He's not anything. He wants to know, yes, we want to proceed with getting ownership of the property and having help with it, or not. Does not want to, the pinch on us, but he's got to. It's been a year, July 4th.
Yeah.
And nothing has been done with it.
And if the property is still not in our name at this point, and it was back in April that everything was supposed to be transferred, then we went through May and then
It
June.
never will be totally in our name. It is in the DNR and Grand Junction's name combined.
Okay, I misspoke there. What I meant to say, if it was supposed to be transferred into Murphy's name so that they could do something with it, they've had since April when we had this meeting. Now we're almost to the 4th of July and the property still is not transferred. So even if he takes the class, he still can't do anything without the property, and we're now this many months into it. I feel like we're just gonna end up doing this anyway, and,
Possibly getting fines and still not getting the grant money.
right. I think if we wait, it's a detriment.
Okay, so you go with Mel Penn's. Who picks out the guy to clean it up?
I would say we get an estimate from a couple of different people.
Okay.
And then we present it to the council.
And it's not a one-person show, it's a company that does this for a living. I mean, if we go through Mel Penn's, we're not gonna be able to just get any Joe Blow off the street. It's gonna have to be somebody that's certified, a company that does it, and will do it efficiently and effectively.
And they bring in their people.
It's not just gonna be one person, one truck, trying to do it one crew. It's gonna be, get in here, get done. And that is exactly how Mel made it sound like. it'll be a process that it's professionally done.
And I'm sure that Mel or even Tom can probably give us the names of several companies to get bids from and get this started. I mean, they gave us the information in April and we've now
Yeah, they'll,
wasted all this time.
And I have explained why.
Mark, did you have something you want to say?
I have a question for Ms. Are you guys wanting that property when
Yes,
you guys want to keep it?
correct,
Okay. So Don's gonna turn
yes.
over to you.
but the town of Grand Junction's getting put into a pinch by the DNR.
Correct.
That's the problem.
But why would Tom tell me to get Dennis signed up for these classes, get it done, and get it done up? That was exactly Tom's rule.
Because he's trying to just get it cleaned up. And the thing is, we've already,
And that's what I want to do.
but it's going to take you a lot longer because you aren't even going to be able to help him. The only person that can be working at that
That's
site is him,
But it's still getting done, Paula.
but it's not getting done in a timely fashion. and
How
that's
is
the
it not
problem.
timely?
Well, because it's
Why
August.
is it
It's
on your time?
It's not on my time, it's on the DNR's time.
And that's fine. When Dennis gets going, they can specify.
They already have specified. They already have specified that they want it done. We should have already had it started now. Now they're looking at fining the city because we have already waited this long.
But I have put steps into place to get it done, and Tom was totally fine with
Do you have the property in your name?
that. It will be.
It will be. Christmas will be on the 25th of December.
Why are you being a bully?
I'm not being a bully,
Yes, you
I'm
are.
just trying
Yes,
to let
you
everybody
are.
know.
Yes,
That-
you are. Why are you coming so hard at my family that you are a bully?
Okay, we're not really taking
This,
conversation.
Right.
We're gonna, we need to talk amongst
Just a minute.
ourselves.
The DNR is on its hard.
Correct.
We have to let them know something.
But why would Tom put me in a position to sign up for these classes to get it done?
When did you talk to Tom last?
I talked to him today.
Be nice to have him on the phone right now.
Do you want me to call
See if he answers.
Doesn't hurt.
Hi, Tom, this is Laura Lyons from the Grand Junction City Council. How are you today? I'm okay. Can I put you on speakerphone, please? Well, I can tell you that you have the city council here, which is Paula, Laura, Cammie, our city clerk, our mayor, Jerry, Brett, our city worker, street man, Mickey, council, Mark, council, and we have, two people in the audience. One is Misty Murphy and the other one is Pam Weinbrenner. Pam Weinbrenner is just a citizen of Grand Junction. Exactly. So I'm gonna put you on speaker.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom, you're on speaker. I'll try and let everybody hear that. Yeah, Misty, did you have a question for Tom?
Did we speak today, Tom?
I'm sorry.
Misty asked if you spoke to her today.
Yes,
Okay,
And that he knows that Dennis has signed up for the classes on the 15th of August.
And you're aware that Dennis has signed up for the classes August 13th?
15.
Oh, sorry, 15th?
I was driving, I mean, that could well be, and I told her I'd help her out any way we can.
Okay. Okay, does anybody else have any questions or anything they want to say?
Murphy's are, thinking that it's okay to just write this out now, let him take the class in August, and then let them take as much time as necessary to get this cleaned up, the grocery store. We were under the impression that you were guiding us to get it done quicker than that, and you will.
Well, I'm not allowing at this time on this now, and I can't, but, I mean, if, Misty's husband gets the training, then the very next job is gonna have to be to get this cleaned up, and has to be done in a reasonable period of time.
How long do they have to clean it up once he has?
I mean, I don't think it should take longer than 2-3 weeks to do the cleanup, correct? I mean, even with
Correct.
just, what kind of equipment do they have and that type of thing. But it has to be, it's gonna have to be watered down, and, the brick and the metal can be saved as long as we determine that it's not asbestos containing. And everything else has to go to landfill as asbestos containing waste.
And the,
I would say after the course, 30 days ought to be the max. I mean, that's a reasonable time period, actually, I think that's generous. And at this stage of the game, I would say that's what needs to happen.
Tom, are you aware that the landfill only takes asbestos-contained debris 1 day a week?
Is that the Boone landfill?
Yes,
And we're talking about the Boone, and that's Tuesdays only, correct?
right, so we've got one man doing this job, and he's gonna have to do this 1 day a week, and you're giving him 30 days to get this done.
Well, that's what I'm saying, otherwise
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to, otherwise there'll have to be an order against the city and the owner,
Right.
to get it done. Now, I mean, we can maybe work with the landfill, and there's nothing like, seeing something happen, you know what I'm saying? And
Oh, yeah.
It's happened for a year, so that's where I'm coming from now, whether Misty and her husband does it or the city does it, is, that's up to you folks.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody else have any other questions for Tom?
So if we put a date of the 15th of September, that gives him a month after taking the class, or the 30th of September, then at that point, if they don't have it.
I would say, talk to the landfill, but they're open on Tuesday, when you say one man. They should be able to find another hauler, they ought to be, able to take a number of dump truck loads every day, I would guess, on Tuesdays anyway, but yes, 30 days is what I would consider reasonable. And I know that the Boone landfill is kind of strict, but you folks will have to figure that out.
Theoretically, you could clean it up
Just a
in
second.
2 days.
Does the guy hauling the stuff have to be asbestos certified, correct? Or just the guy doing the cleaning?
No, not as far as we're concerned. The waste hauler does not have to be an asbestos licensed individual.
But it has to be a special truck that they're using, because it's gotta be wrapped
It
in,
has to be 6 mil polyline, and the load has to be relatively wet, no dust. And all of it has to be claimed as asbestos containing waste. That's what the regulation.
and they'll learn all that and know that when he goes to class, I assume.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a 40-hour one.
Right.
So they
Okay.
can learn that, but, no, there's other companies that, use haulers, and that's fine, as long as they get a bill of lading that we know it went to the landfill as asbestos, and they have receipts for it. I mean, if the paperwork has to be in order as well, of course.
Okay, Mickey has a question, I believe.
If something happens and he cannot attend the class, and the project does not get cleaned up by the date,
It's gonna be everybody's problem.
what are you gonna charge
If something
the city?
happens, like I say, then, we're not gonna wait until, the winter comes along. You see what I'm saying? And at that stage, I will ask our attorneys for an administrative order, just so everybody understands that things need to get done.
And do we have any recourse if they do not get it done, can we sue them for not getting it done in a timely fashion?
Well, if I see that the job, let's say, is 80% done, you know, I'm gonna keep pushing things along at that stage, but, the city itself, you know, as far as recourse, no, I mean, we're gonna have to get this done one way or the other.
Well, I guess my concern is that they didn't do anything until the very end. So to me, how sincere are they as far as cleaning up the mess?
And that's gonna have to be something we discuss. Does anybody else have any questions for Tom?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's, you know, up to you folks to decide.
Right. All right, I think I'm gonna let you go. We might call you back if we have more questions, okay?
Okay.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Well, sounds like Tom's willing to go along with it a little bit. Just,
And that's the case, we're gonna lose out on that $25,000 grant.
we'll know by the,
We are gonna lose out on that $25,000 grant, and we're gonna be stuck with more than that.
the grant, I don't think they explained it to you right. They can go as high as 50,000, they'll pay 25 of it.
Right,
They only pay half. If it only costs 10,000,
Exactly.
and they only pay 5,000.
right, but they're saying that it's gonna be closer to $50,000 is why they're telling us 25. Absolutely, we only get a half, I get that. No matter how you look at it, if that is $20,000, we could get 10,000 for it. But still, that's money, a grant money that we're not gonna have after,
That's right.
and we won't be able to get it next year because Mel is done messing around with us with this. He's heard about it, he's talked about it, he's done. So we gotta think about that. Do we want to miss out on possible grant money that will help clean it up?
Either we get it done for nothing with them, if they can follow through,
If they can.
follow through, or it's gonna cost us whatever.
And if they can't follow through, then it costs us whatever, and we have the grant money to help us.
Yeah. It boils down to Dennis getting that certification.
You've talked to him, Jerry.
Because if it goes to the grant,
Correct.
you'll lose the property.
I know,
They'll take it away from you.
I know.
I know he's not trying to not take the class. Is there a guarantee that he will not be able to make this one? Is there, or is he guaranteed he'll go?
He is guaranteed that he will go. He was doing the bird flu, it was an emergency. So,
I just,
you know,
just
and
checking.
not check presidents over and taking the class.
I guess I'm curious how much the landfill fees are gonna be for asbestos. And who's gonna cover the cost?
None of us. We're not doing it.
Not
It
the
won't
city.
be us, because that's part of, if we go with
Do you
Mel, then there's,
understand that, Misty?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
because if we go with Mel, then that's part of it.
It says-
Well, I'm just gonna say, and Misty, I'm not trying to step on your toes, but, and this is what I would say if you weren't in the room, But I feel like they should have already had it in their name, I mean, since April. It should have already been transferred over into their name, and they only had class, was it in May and then August? There was no other classes to go to. I have no idea, but that seems kind of fishy. It just makes me real nervous to not to be able to miss out on that grant money, because we're gonna need it. We have tons of stuff that the city has to pay for coming up. The trees, the lagoon, we still have a street that needs fixed. I mean, it's projects that we need money for, and up to half, like Jerry said, at least it's something to help pay for it. And if we put all our eggs in this basket and we miss out, we're really missing out.
Turn to this page. Down at the bottom where it says contact no pins, it says a community involvement. Is that one of the stipulations if we work with their money and stuff? Are you planning on putting something back there?
Yes.
That's part of the,
Yeah, that is part of the stipulation.
In fact, I think
Even
it
if-
was 18 months, or was that, I was thinking something else.
what?
18 months after it's cleaned up to get it figured out, some kind of a plan.
Doesn't say here.
Now, I'm confused, am I allowed to talk or am I not allowed to talk?
Even if we own it, or, like, we take ownership of it and we clean it up, even we have to like sell it with the assumption that it's gonna better the town of Junction.
If we sell it, there's stipulations when you sell it.
That's what I just said.
I mean,
Yeah,
you can't, whoever buys it has to sign a contract or gonna build something.
yeah. I mean, we can't just let it be a junkyard.
Whether it's kosher or not, I want her to talk. I want her to voice her, whatever she wants to ask. If that's gonna help get this solved, you got the floor.
Dennis can get that job done within your 30-day period. Of that, I have no doubt. He does have a couple drivers that will drive that stuff, and it will get cleaned up. But I do not appreciate being bored. I've explained why we cannot do the class, and to answer your question, Laura, no, they only get the classes at certain times when they have a number of people to do the class, because you've got to be able to do the class with so many people, otherwise why do the class? So, and I do understand that part too. That class would have already been taken, everything would have been fine, but no. So, but you guys have your own mind, and it's fine. But Dennis can get it cleaned up in those 30 days with no problem.
He could, if he wanted to, he could clean that up in 2 days.
Correct.
If he had the
Correct.
equipment there, you could clean that up in 2 days.
Yes.
In fact, if he had another truck driver and 2 trucks running, it'd be pretty easy. If he'll follow through.
It'll be 2
Sure,
weeks,
yeah.
because you want to do it, you can only go on Tuesday.
Well, Jerry, he's worked out for the number and everything else. When does he not follow through?
No, I know it, but
Okay.
I have to say it,
I'm just saying.
But Laura's right, we hate to miss out on it, so, if we get past, or we can't get any help and forced to clean it up ourselves, we're in trouble.
We're gonna be hiring it then for a big chunk of change that we ain't got. Vicki, what do you think? What's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are we gave him a chance. What happens if the bird flu comes back again?
Another emergent project that can't help. I mean,
So get some kind of a commitment from him and write him with a penalty.
Well, the penalty should be whatever it costs the city is what they have to pay.
Which we don't know that yet, do we? What's the cost if we get fined?
well, and not just
Does
the fine.
Mel make that decision or somebody else?
Tom does. All Mel really does is work on the grant part of it, okay? Tom would be the one to do the fine and that part of thing, and that's, I'm sure, case by case, situation by situation. It's not just cut and dry a lot.
I mean, that's fine that he wants to go to school. That's August, so that means we've got 2 more months to look at this. I've got people coming to my house complaining about the contamination going down our sewers every time it rains. Complaining that the city has done nothing to clean up the street, the sidewalk, the alley, and you tell them, can't, that's the law. They don't wanna hear that.
I've also heard that.
I just
would
don't,
like nothing more than to get it cleaned up.
You know, it's like you said, we've got so much other stuff going on.
that there's no grants available for. I mean, there's no tree grants out there. There's no, I mean, there probably is, but I mean,
Not anymore.
not anymore, you know, and
You know, I'm sorry, I think we gave you a chance, and I'm sorry the bird flu came. But I think the city has to move forward. We have to get this cleaned up now. We cannot wait until this fall and hope that Dennis doesn't have another emergency.
I make a motion that we, move forward with getting the title to this, the city gets title of the property and move forward with their own cleanup.
I'll second it.
I don't know. I'm thinking. If it would work exactly with Misty, no, it would be perfect. But we don't know.
And we're gonna wait 2 months to see if he's gonna be able to go to school. 2 months that we could have been working and getting that cleaned up
If we have
already.
another windstorm come through, then what? Yeah, there's so many ifs, and if they would have come to the meeting tonight with the papers in hand, that the taxes had been paid, and that the, property was in their name, okay, then we're moving a step forward. We've seen, but we haven't seen anything move forward since the April meeting.
How long will it take you to pay the taxes and get the title in Dennis's name?
Monday, the taxes will be paid.
I thought they were supposed to be paid already today.
Taxes will be paid when?
Monday.
Monday?
Yeah.
You mean a week from the day, or today?
Correct,
Week from the day?
yes.
But then how long does it
That's
take?
July 4th.
Right.
What,
So they're-
what about the deed? How does it come?
The deed will be transferred probably in the middle of July.
Who, is the lawyers in Jefferson handling that?
Yes, he's getting all that done. Final
Session. It's open session, right?
Yep.
Should have
Open
been,
session.
should have been done by now.
Because then also the lien,
There was.
The property,
that
the,
she didn't do.
what's this called?
Oh, there's a, yeah,
$500 lien against
Lien
it, plus the
and court.
taxes, plus it's gotta be transferred with the lawyers working on getting it transferred. I mean,
it's been since April. It's been since the end of April. If all this would have been done, and then the classes where we were waiting, okay, for the classes to be done at the end of August, then it
Can
would
you
be
give,
different.
excuse me, can you give Mel 2 weeks? If this isn't handled in 2 weeks,
If what isn't handled in 2 weeks.
or
lien in hand, I mean, are you telling her that she's gonna have it all, everything paid up and she's gonna have the deed to that property in her hand in 2 weeks? Is that
well,
what you're saying?
you've been working on it, haven't you?
Back on, spoke to her lawyer today.
but how do we know how much has been done toward, I mean, going in and paying the taxes are, you know, an easy thing, and paying the lien, that's an easy thing, but getting the property transferred, we don't even have anything from an attorney that says, hey, I've got the paperwork in progress, this is gonna be 2 weeks, and I will have you the piece of paper, whatever. We don't even have that. We don't, you know.
Can you get that from the lawyer? By when? That he's working on it and what the problem is, hold up? Because Grand Junction's in trouble.
I mean, if indeed this is actually going on and it's in the attorney's hand, she ought to be able to get a hold of the attorney tomorrow and say, I need a piece of paper for the city
What's the
that
date of our,
says.
excuse me, what's the date of our council meeting?
Next month?
11th, I think.
The-
July 11, I think.
It is
Yeah.
July,
Yeah, it would be,
11.
it would be July 11th, because
yeah, July 11th.
What do you think, Martin? If nothing's done by July 11th, I can't vote.
And we're not trying to bully, cause problems.
No.
We're trying to get this done in a way
correct.
that everybody wins.
Yeah,
And not be dinged, and not
Right,
be dinged for
right.
it.
You can see where we're coming from. I'm surprised we haven't been sued already by somebody getting hurt over there myself.
oh,
There you go.
she gets called, we all get calls, you know, it's,
And I'm surprised you guys, they might say, well, it's not the city's, it's Dawn.
If it's-
I'm
if
surprised
it's,
Dawn hasn't been sued yet because.
I got motions and seconds on the floor,
Well,
but
let me finish real quick.
oh,
I
excuse me.
just we're trying to make this town somewhere where people wanna come in and build and live here. Right now, it's not happening because, and that's not just your place, there's other places in town that are the same way. I just want whatever's best for the community, that we can all get this done, and whether her way, your way, our way, whatever. It's gonna be, we're gonna have another pancake breakfast, not sorting out the fire department, but, and people are gonna come back and go, that's still there.
Absolutely. Every one of my family members from out of town drives down Main Street and goes,
Oh,
oh.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean,
We all know, Paula, you mentioned something that you would think about it if she had deed in her hand and the taxes paid.
Wouldn't you think that if you've got your attorney and he has got the paperwork and he's working on it, if you called your attorney and said, look, I'm getting pressure, I need something from you that says I am starting this paperwork, it's going to take 2 weeks to get through or whatever to get this over, you ought to be able to call him on the phone and get that paperwork from him
That's
that
right.
says that it started.
Mhm.
So if I'm gonna vote the other way at all, I want that paper and I want it tomorrow. I mean, if indeed this has actually happened, you ought to be able to call the attorney and say, you know, you're working for me, I need something typed up, sent to the city of Grand Junction that this has been switched over. And if that can't happen, then I'm not buying the story.
and again, I'm just gonna tell you what Mel Penn said.
Yeah,
He's not waiting around for us.
right.
He's not waiting around a
He's
week.
waited around too long now.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you still get offering it to us and
And,
stuff.
and I'm gonna be honest with you, when he was here at that meeting, he was very nice, very jovial. Every time I've talked to him, he's been very great. When I had him on the phone to get this information from him, he was not as great.
Mhm.
He is done messing around with Grand Junction and hearing about that damn grocery store that burned down. He's explained it to Jerry, a couple times in emails or whatnot, ever happened, I had it before my time. And then he came and talked to us and he goes, unless you're gonna move forward, I don't wanna hear from you. And I'm not saving money. I'm not saving a grant for you. I need to
Don't
know.
blame him one bit.
And he says, I need to know right away, because like he said, he has 75 or 78 other towns that need that money. So
And
we could put anything on the back burner we want, but we're gonna be out of that grant money.
And if we wait till the next city council meeting and then do something about it, then by the time we send out the paperwork to get all of this, we're already into August because you know how slow that's gonna run for us. And until it's in our name, we can't go after that grant. So it's
Yeah.
slowed everything down. I think that if we, I mean, obviously I wanna get it done as cheap for the town as what we can, but I think if they would have come in tonight with paperwork in hand or something that said, we're getting this into our name, that would have been at least a start, and I just don't think that we have anything like that. For that reason, I'm gonna say aye to the acquisition of the property.
Did I second that?
You seconded it, yes, you did, yes, yeah, you seconded it.
Can you find out tomorrow or the next day?
Ron has to get in contact with him. He's not in the office all the time, Jim.
You get that stuff, the lawyer, what he thinks, and get everything down, bring it into Tammy, but it's gotta be tomorrow.
Mark's got it all.
I'll put you on that road.
You play? Oh,
Aye.
May I ask the mayor a question? Can the city government overrule the DNR? Really? I mean, that phone call said they could do it.
What'd you say?
Can the city overrule the DNR? You called a DNR representative who said they could do it. And the city said here, saying, no, they can't, because it's on a grant.
But there's two sections of that DNR.
Okay.
Tom Ware, he's in charge of the law enforcement and
Yeah.
the finding, and was willing to wiggle. But the guy that we're getting the grant from, he's DNR, but he's dealing with federal money.
Yep.
and Tom
And
Weir
that's a
said,
different, it's a whole
you guys
different
have to
program. They know
decide.
each other and talk to each other, but nobody's over the top of each other.
Okay, I just heard, that's my understanding, you can't, so.
Mel Pins has, well, they both have a lot of power, but he's
so now we, get a hold of our attorney?
We need to get a hold of our attorney, and we need to have, I think, probably Rod involved with this, because it's ordinance stuff, and we'll start the process with that.
And hopefully by the next council meeting, we will know a little bit more where we're at as far as these steps go.
This meeting publicized,
Well, it's live stream.
good. They can see the bullying, because I have to agree.
well, I guess that concludes that, doesn't it? Have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Second.
Aye.
Good luck.
Going down to the shop.
Yep, I'll be there, then I gotta go to school. Call.
I'll be right down there.
I think so.